we are recording this game to Miami versus Denver right after the game, and we are really excited to share our thoughts about the game. So continue listening to our podcast. Guys, this game was absolutely beautiful. We were not expecting Miami Heat to come back in game two. We knew that it was something that is very important for Miami Heat to come back, but we were not expecting them to come back. And in a fashion that they did, all the role players giving their playing their job beautifully. I mean, amazing game. What are your thoughts, guys?
It's exactly like I said. Like they needed to win this game, and Miami never really wins with like their top heavy guys, and it was basically that. Um, the reason why they're here is because Miami is a very good team in itself. Like they play very well as a team, and that's what they did tonight as well. And like we were speculating, Kevin Love was in the starting lineup for Caleb Martin, and there was that illness for Martin. Maybe that was the reason for Kevin Love, but maybe I think there was an underlying case for Jimmy Butler to be on Jamal Murray. They shut down Jamal Murray completely tonight. Some of it might be just his rhythm because he's a rhythm player. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off, but they were always showing him that double. They were giving him that zone treatment, wherein basically, I think what they tried to do was make Jokic a scorer. They were just like, I think they went like, oh, maybe nobody in the world can stop Jokic, so just stop trying and just try and stop their second guy. That was Jamal Murray, and they successfully did that tonight. I mean, he didn't have a terrible game, but for his standards, for Nuggets to be like outright ahead of them, I think Murray needs to be much better, and like he has to have those games like he did in that Lakers series. Um, and overall, I think Miami played better tonight than the Nuggets. The role players for the Nuggets did not show up, like KCP, um, AG, and Christian Bond actually had a decent game, but like overall, the Nuggets had a very good game in game one, but game two, I think it was completely flipped. Um, Miami had a terrible game in game one. They had a awesome game two. Duncan Robinson was giving them the buckets at the end there. Jimmy Butler sort of turned on in quarter four, wherein they needed him the most. Bam, to your guys' surprise, Bam kind of showed up again. He also is one of those guys who's sometimes on, sometimes off, and he was engaged tonight. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, N- Nuggets had this game, and it's really disappointing to me as a Nuggets fan. But I didn't after I think after the 10th minute, it was like a 25-6 Nuggets run in the from the
Hmm.
last 2 minutes of first to the fourth minute of the second quarter, and it was probably Nuggets in the fourth quarter. I mean, we were talking about this in the morning too. But like, whenever Heat went on a kind of a run, whenever they had a couple of what do you call 3 pointers, couple of shots going in. I mean, Nuggets just took the game away, and it was Jokic throughout this game, man. I mean,
Hmm.
he was shooting every three. He was making a janky ass hook. He was getting to the foul line. He was making every shot, and it was probably a game of turnovers, right? It was basically whoever was not turning the ball over, he had the lead. It started with Nuggets with quick 4 to 5 turnovers. Jokic had that double dribble. Jamal
Hmm.
Murray had that transition foul and all of those things, and then Miami went on that run. Then Miami Heat start turning over the ball, and Nuggets go on a run, and it was pretty much that. And
Hmm.
Michael Malone came in the pre-game interview. He said this thing, right? I mean, he basically said this thing, and even Funky tweeted it, right? We can run our offense in our sleep, but I really need these guys to play defense. I pray for these guys to play defense. And man, I was really sad with the Nuggets defense tonight because it is basically leaving the corner guy open, right? And that was pretty much there. We were talking about this again. That was their game plan for game one, when they're not going to respect the shooters. But after Max Truth has a 4 for 7 first quarter,
Yeah,
again,
he
another
went on
thing
a
that,
heater.
yeah, we talked about this, right? There's no one in the Miami Heat team who is not surprising, who is surprising at this point of time, right?
Hmm.
Everyone can show up, but when Max Truth is giving you threes like crazy threes and everyone is heated up, you cannot leave that corner open, and that was the problem with Nuggets. KCP did not do a good job defending. Aaron Gordon was not on his play. And guys, I have a small trivia for you right now. Right, I want to play this
Yeah.
small game. So we know MPJ is not the greatest defender. He is known for his scoring for this Nuggets team, right? He played
Yep.
60. He played 62 games in the regular season. How many games do you think he got 30 plus points?
Oh, not many. Oh, I think maybe two.
Shajit?
5.
Okay, he got two 30-point games and two 29-point
Hey.
games on the dot 29-point games. Now, in the postseason,
Worst
he's
luck.
played seven. In the postseason, he's played 17 games now. How many games do you think he's got over 20 points
20. Oh, and that's tough.
From 17
Three,
games?
maybe?
in 17 games?
Maybe three.
4.
It's again two, and that's the point I'm trying to
Oh.
bring, right? Michael Porter Jr., you're paying this guy a rookie max
Hmm.
extension. He's making 5 years, 118 million. His job on that team is to make that corner three, make an open three, and that's the problem I have with Michael Porter Jr. He wants to take the toughest shot every single point down the stretch. He cannot make that shot, but he wants to take that toughest shot. He's 6'10". For 6'10", he's not a good rebounder. He's not a good defender for 6'10". He's being paid max money. He's not even the fourth best option sometimes on the Nugget team. And he's not playing at any level which he was probably his potential was. I mean, at this point in time, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. is just playing because they don't want to give the minutes to Christian Braun. I mean, Christian Braun was a, I think overall Christian Braun was a better positive for this team. And I want to start this narrative that Michael Porter Jr. is close to being one of the worst contracts in the NBA right now. Guys, 36 million average over 5 years. I mean, what do you guys think about everything that went on from this game?
I mean, Jalen Brown is in that running, I think. A lot of people are killing him for his contract as well because apparently he can't dribble the ball. At that contract,
Jalen Brown recently in an interview said that he has to win 5 rings before he turns 26
no,
or
that wasn't
28
recent.
or
That was,
That was like in his rookie season with Malika Andrews that
yep.
interview.
So he's got only like a couple of years left on that one since when he made that prediction. So he needs to win
yeah,
five
that's what
championships
5
in 2 years.
championships in 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
So
referring to.
anyways, like getting back to this game, I think you are partially right about MPJ, wherein he hasn't been performing to his potential. He does have the physical tools that with that frame, with that size, with that wingspan, he probably needs to play better defense. He can definitely rebound much better than he has been, and I feel like a lot of that is because of what his role is. But like you pointed out, he's not even playing his role to the fullest, to my opinion. Um, like you said, his role is a shooter, and to me, I mean, most people have bad shot selection, but this guy doesn't have shot selection. You give him the ball, he's shooting it every single time. There's no selection process going on in his head. It's just always shooting. I mean, to be fair, that's what his job is. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But yeah, poor shot selection for sure hasn't been showing up a lot. And I think game one was mostly AG showing up big time and filling his role. And I think you're right on that part that maybe the Nuggets are overpaying him. And like he needs to be better to get that contract for sure. But all in all, I think, like I said in the previous podcast, I feel like Miami was hanging close in that game. Maybe not to you guys, but I felt like it was a similar story in this game as well. They were behind by quite a lot. Like they were up by 11, then they got down by 15. Like it was a game of runs to me. And in that third quarter, I sent you guys that text that just maybe Miami wins this because of what I saw. And what I saw was, um, you guys can check the score. It was Denver was still up, but it took a heroic effort from Jokic. Jokic was just hitting everything. He was the whole offense for the Nuggets, and Miami was still close in that game. So I was, it was sort of a hint to me, similar to the first game, wherein I didn't expect it to be that close, and it was. And if you let Miami hang, I think they have the edge over anybody in the NBA, at least this season. That's what I've seen. Um, as as less talented as they are, I feel like they can win over anybody. Just if you let them be in that 10 to 12 range, they can take games. And that's what happened. Like you said, they didn't play any defense in the fourth quarter. Nuggets were completely lost on defense. And overall, what do you guys think about, like, how weird was it? Like, that was a complete shift from game one, right? They had two free throws all game long, and in this game they were already in the bonus with what, I think 8 minutes to go or something like that. Jokic had quick three fouls. Like, he had one foul and then he had an offensive on Gabe Vincent, then got mad and hacked him on the other end. And I think the Nuggets overall followed him and his spirit. Like, he got frustrated with those foul calls, and like everybody followed him. I'll grant him that he got some of those out of bound calls like wrong, and like he had the right to be pissed off. But as a leader, he probably has to do better for that team,
For
right?
sure.
What do you guys think?
For sure. But at the same point in time, as much props and all the credit to Miami Heat. I mean, there's no way that they don't make it. They make it to the finals with just being lucky and everything, right? But this was the game that, first of all, Miami needed to win this game if they have any chance, right? This would have been
Exactly.
like a this would have been like a big loss. It would have been like the 2018 loss the Cavaliers had against Warriors when J.R. Smith had that mistake, right? It would have been a loss paramount to that because Miami had it, and it was just a shot. I mean, Jamal Murray has made some crazy shots. In the last series itself, I saw him make some crazy shots. I mean, it was just a shot away from being an overtime, and who knows? I mean, Miami Heat probably was, seen to win in overtime, but still, I mean, it could go
But
anyway, right?
again, like, two controversial things during that time. Like, Nuggets had a timeout during that time. Miami had a foul to give. Neither team electing to do so. And it ended up being a win for Miami. Like, do you guys think he should have taken a timeout there and drawn up a play, or do you guys think it was a good decision, seeing as Murray had hit two good threes in the last two possessions?
This reminds me of that story that David Bland said, right? When, in 2016 they drew up that play for J.R. Smith and LeBron was like, "No, coach, I got this," right? In those moments, you have to be the
Trust your
player that
players. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You have to take the ball and say, you know what, I'm taking the shot and win them with the decision. And I think
Hmm.
Jokic was okay with Jamal Murray taking that shot. I think Jamal Murray and the entire team was pretty much okay with Jamal Murray taking that shot, right? Where he's taking the last shot. It could have been better. Obviously, it could have been better. I think the Nuggets, honestly, it was the Nuggets' game to win, and they lost this game more than the Miami. Props to Miami Heat, but Nuggets lost this game more than Miami Heat won because of the fourth quarter. But at the end, I think it wasn't a mistake. I would have liked to see a timeout, but I mean, I live with the decision of Jamal Murray in that game. If we would have made that shot, just like Jordan Poole, right? If he would have made that shot, he made some crazy shots. We won't be
That's
talking about
true.
this, but you live with it.
I mean, they should have, in my opinion, I slightly disagree with Angad. I think so. They should have taken that time out. That would have given a higher percentage play on that particular occasion. I think so. It's a game of percentages. I also understand that it's a very quick decision that you have to make at that moment. It happens. It all happens in a split second. It was just
Yeah.
11 seconds left, and they were under pressure. But still, you had a lot of things that you could go in your favor. It's all about percentages. I don't think so it was a good percentage shot. You get to advance the ball with 11 seconds to go. I think so that would have given them a huge advantage and would have given probably a Jamal Murray or a Nikola Jokic, whoever was receiving the ball in the inbound, a greater chance to score, since they wouldn't have such a kind of a pressure on their head to score to make the play and then score. I think so. And also Jokic was pretty hot from three as well through
Yeah.
the game as well. We saw that into it was a monster scoring night for him. You need to trust players in these kind of situations, like Lakers always do with LeBron James. He is always will have the ball in the clutch situations. I think so. That was the play
That
that they
that
needed to
didn't
make
work
at
out
that.
so good for the Lakers this
It
series,
didn't.
though.
It did. It didn't. But again, LeBron was not the best player on the team this particular series as well. So, but Jokic was the best player on the is on the Nuggets series in this particular game. So that's something that they should have gone for.
I mean, that's fair, but I kind of have to agree with Angad on that one. You kind of have to live with your stars taking those shots. To me, I feel like you have to trust them. And like I said, Murray had hit two good threes in the previous two possessions or something like that. Um, so he was in rhythm. You would trust him to make that shot and you would just go with it, right? With 11 seconds, that's enough seconds for your star player to make a play, get a good shot off. And he somewhat did. He shed Butler. It wasn't a totally contested shot. He just missed. So I think you live with that three, and it's not about that single play like it usually is. Fans complain about a foul call or like something of a very small stature at the very end of games, because you generally tend to look at those things and go, oh, if this turned out this way, you would have won or something like that. But in the entire fourth quarter, I feel like Miami outplayed Denver, and that's where they lost the game. They never should have given up those that lead, and Denver should have just thumped them. And that's what I said in the previous one, right? They need to blow them out, otherwise Miami is always in the game. That's their one big thing. Um, so yeah, I think whatever he picks in that situation, Michael Malone will get like scapegoated just because what is the result of the game.
Yeah,
I mean, what
and
play?
go ahead, Sachin, sorry.
No, 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 go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I think more than that, what we saw was from Eric Spoelstra, right? Kevin Love playing a lot of minutes tonight, 22 minutes, which I mean, it's not a lot, but he's not played for the last 3 games. He started for
Yeah.
them throughout the playoff series, except for that, right? And I mean, he was not a scoring option at all. I would never say that, but 10 rebounds in those 22 minutes, you just need someone, right? Someone big, right? Because on the on the Nuggets, except for Bruce Brown and Jamal Murray, everyone is like 6'6" and above, right? Jokic is 6'11", Aaron Gordon is 6'9", Michael Porter is 6'10". All these players are tall, lanky players who can get that rebound. Even though FPJ is not the greatest rebounder, that their height gives them an advantage enough. And tonight, what I saw was Kevin Love and Bam Adebayo really trying to get those offensive rebounds away from Jokic.
And
Whenever they were in the paint, I saw a lot of scrappy rebounds from them. Even when the shooters were going a bit cold, when they were missing some open shots, they got the rebound. They got a second chance opportunity.
that's a very very big point. I
Yeah,
agree to that. I feel like they got definitely pounded on the glass in the previous game, wherein I felt like there was nobody on the Miami Heat other than Bam, who was just trying to get a rebound. He felt so helpless and alone because he was boxing out basically two or three
and
guys at some points.
Jimmy Butler was playing pretty weak last game too. He was even this
Yeah.
game he was not going for those rebounds. But Caleb Martin is that kind of guy, right? Sneakily coming in like a Jose Alvarado for that rebound. But Kevin Love is Kevin Love is like 6'10", 6'11", right?
That's
Almost 7
basically what they kind of need from him. Honestly, they don't even need his scoring too much. And like with Tyler Hero possibly coming back in next game, they might not need the offense from a lot of these role players. He might fill in as a off the bench kind of a spark plug for Miami. So
Not
I
really
think
sure that
they.
he is coming back though.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it'd be
He's
hard
out for
to
two
like.
games. I
Spo
mean,
said that
that's what I heard.
he's
That's what I
back
heard in the
in.
media.
Yeah, he's backing 2-on-2. I think he's not cleared for five. He might be cleared for 5-on-5, but Spo said that everyone is healthy except for Tyler Hero right now, and obviously Victor Oladipo. But that's one
But
thing for sure.
there's still time till game three, and he might just be playing mind games with the opposition. But anyways, like that's besides the point. My point was Kevin Love, they kind of need him just for that size, right? They need him for the defense, they need him for those gang rebounds that they were doing tonight, and they need to do that because they got absolutely pounded on the glass in the previous game, and I think that hurt them more than anything. The size showed immensely in the previous game. It wasn't as much of a factor tonight. The depth wasn't as much of a factor tonight. Jokic is going to be Jokic, but they cut out two of the very big things that were hurting them. That was those rebounds, the size factor, the depth factor. They cut out Jamal Murray, and I think that's why they won. They beat them in defense, and I feel like Miami has a better chance if they um run their offense faster. If they go faster, because that's what Denver was exploiting even tonight. They were getting those fast break points, and like I've always claimed that it's always the easier offense that'll win for me. And so nothing easier than a transition when the defense is not set, right?
Exactly. It's like your star player is going to make crazy shots, right? But you got to get them those easy buckets. And transition wise, it's just what I saw, right? It was like 20 to 5 in fast break points. 18 to 5. I stand corrected, but 18 to 5. And what was really not funny, but what was great to see was Jokic was leading all those fast breaks. I mean, a 7-footer running up the court, passing or just laying it up, and it was almost always going in. And
But
you know,
it was always on Cody Seller, like you like to call him. He
I mean,
really can't guard Jokic like at all.
Quencher.
Like when he sees him, he's like Shaq getting a barbecue chicken thing, right? It's like too easy for him.
It is too easy for them. Um,